Whispers from the void. Commander Maya Chen stood at the observation deck of the research vessel Prometheus, her eyes fixed on the swirling darkness that enveloped the ship. It wasn't ordinary space. No stars pierced through this peculiar region. It was as if light itself surrendered to the void. "Dr. Okafor, please tell me your instruments are giving you something," Maya said, her voice steady despite the unease crawling up her spine. The ship's chief scientist didn't look up from his console. "Readings are still inconsistent, Commander. But there's definitely something out there. Energy signatures unlike anything in our database." 3 weeks earlier, the long-range scanner network had detected a gravitational anomaly in the Cygnus constellation, approximately 47 light-years from Earth. The Prometheus, humanity's most advanced deep space research vessel, was dispatched to investigate. What they found defied explanation. A perfect sphere of darkness, spanning nearly 300 kilometers in diameter, that seemed to absorb all electromagnetic radiation. "Whatever it is, it shouldn't exist," Dr. Okafor had explained during the mission briefing. "It violates multiple laws of physics." Now, as the Prometheus hovered at the edge of the anomaly, Maya felt the weight of her decision. Earthside Command had given her authority to abort if she deemed the mission too risky, but curiosity overwhelmed caution. Humanity had spent centuries looking up at the stars, wondering if they were alone. This phenomenon could provide answers. "Launch the probes," Maya ordered. "Full sensor package. I want to know what we're dealing with before we get any closer." Lieutenant Ashida, the ship's operations officer, dispatched 5 autonomous drones toward the darkness. On the main view screen, their lights winked like dying fireflies as they approached the boundary. "Receiving telemetry," Ishida reported. "Probes are..." "Wait, signal degradation at 30%. 50%. His voice tightened. "We've lost contact with 4 probes. The 5th is still transmitting, but data is corrupted." Maya leaned forward. "Get me whatever you can from that last probe." The view screen flickered, showing fragmented images from the surviving drone. For a moment, there was nothing but static, then a brief glimpse of something inside the darkness. A massive crystalline structure, shimmering with internal light despite the surrounding void. "There's something in there," Dr. Okafor whispered, his eyes wide. "Something solid." The image froze, then dissolved into static. "That's it," Ishida said. "We've lost the final probe." Maya studied the last frame, showing the strange crystal formation. Dr. Okafor, analysis. The scientist shook his head. "Unknown composition. The spectral data we receive suggests it's absorbing energy at quantum levels. It could be artificial." "You're saying it's technology?" Maya asked. "I'm saying it's not natural," he replied. "At least, not naturally occurring by any process we understand." Maya made her decision. "Prepare the Raven for launch. I'll lead the expedition myself." The Raven, a smaller research craft designed for hazardous environments, departed the Prometheus 6 hours later. Maya piloted with Dr. Okafor beside her, while specialists Yusuf Rahman and Lingwei managed the scientific equipment in the rear compartment. They approached the boundary of darkness cautiously. "Shields at maximum," Maya announced, activating the tachyon emitter. The specialized device was a recent innovation designed to counteract certain quantum disturbances. As they crossed into the darkness, the emitter hummed loudly, creating a bubble of normal space around the small craft. "It's working," Okafor said, relief evident in his voice. "We're maintaining system integrity." Inside the anomaly, the darkness wasn't absolute as it had appeared from outside. Strange currents of energy flowed like rivers through the void, visible only through the Raven's enhanced sensors. Maya guided the craft toward the coordinates where the probe had detected the crystalline structure. There, Y pointed at the sensor display. Massive object ahead. When they finally saw it through the viewport, the team fell silent in awe. It was beautiful and terrifying. A colossal structure of interlocking crystal formations, spanning kilometers in every direction. Pulses of blue-white energy traveled through its lattice, like blood through veins. It hung suspended in the darkness, neither rotating nor moving, as if it existed outside normal spacetime. It's artificial, Raman confirmed, studying his readings. The geometric precision is perfect. This was built. By whom? Maya whispered. As if in response to her question, a beam of light shot from the crystal, enveloping the Raven. Alarms blared as the ship's systems flickered. "We're being scanned," Okafor reported. "Some kind of energy field." The beam retracted suddenly, and an eerie silence fell over the craft. Then, unexpectedly, the communication system activated. A voice, neither male nor female, neither mechanical nor organic, filled the cabin. "You are different," it said, each word precise yet somehow uncertain. Not like the others who came before. Maya's heart raced. "This is Commander Maya Chen of the Earth research vessel Prometheus. We are on a peaceful mission of exploration. Can you identify yourself?" A pause followed, as if the entity was considering her words. "I am Sentinel," the voice finally replied. "Guardian of the Archive. Prisoner of the Void." Over the next hours, the Sentinel revealed fragments of its story. It was the caretaker of an ancient repository of knowledge, the Archive, created by a species that had ascended beyond physical form millions of years ago. The crystal structure was both prison and sanctuary, trapping the Sentinel while protecting the Archive from those who would misuse its knowledge. "Others have come," the Sentinel explained. "Species from distant stars, drawn by the energy signature. They sought power, weapons, dominance. None were worthy. None could free me or access the Archive." "What happened to them?" Maya asked, though she suspected the answer. "They were judged and found wanting." The Sentinel's voice carried no emotion. "Their vessels remain within the void, preserved as warnings." Dr. Okafor analyzed the sensor data. "Commander, I'm detecting multiple ship signatures throughout this region. Dozens of them, maybe hundreds, of various compositions and technologies. Some appear to be thousands of years old." Maya felt a chill. They had stumbled into a graveyard of failed expeditions. "Why are we still alive?" she asked the Sentinel directly. "You are curious," it replied. "Not afraid, not greedy. You seek knowledge for its own sake. This is different." The Sentinel explained that it had been trapped for millennia by an ancient safeguard, a quantum lock that would only release when encountered by a species with the right combination of intelligence, ethics, and creativity. "The Archive cannot fall into destructive hands," it said. "My creators ensured that only those who would use knowledge wisely could access it, and you believe humans qualify?" Maya asked skeptically. "Unknown," the Sentinel replied. "But you have potential I have not seen before. You may attempt the trials where others have failed." Maya and her team discussed the proposition privately. The risks were enormous. If they failed, they would likely join the graveyard of ships in the void. If they succeeded, however, humanity would gain access to technology and knowledge beyond imagination. "We should return to the Prometheus, report what we found," Raman suggested cautiously. "If we leave, we might never find this place again." Y countered. "The anomaly seems to shift its position. This could be our only chance." Maya considered both arguments. "Dr. Okafor, your assessment." The scientist was quiet for a moment. "From what the Sentinel has shared, this Archive contains the knowledge of a species millions of years more advanced than us. The scientific value is incalculable. But the danger is real." Maya made her decision. "We'll attempt the trials, but we prepare thoroughly and we establish a data link with the Prometheus. If something happens to us, at least some record of what we found will survive." They spent the next 12 hours studying everything the Sentinel would share about the trials. Previous species had failed in various ways, some through aggression, attempting to force access to the Archive, others through fear, retreating when faced with the unknown, most through incompatibility, lacking some fundamental quality the system required. The final chamber requires illumination, the Sentinel explained cryptically, but not light as you understand it. Maya and her team gathered their equipment, including experimental technology that hadn't been field-tested. The Raven's systems were linked to the Prometheus, creating a continuous data stream that would persist even if they couldn't return. As they prepared to dock with the crystal structure, Maya recorded her final log entry. "We're about to attempt something no human has done before. Face judgment by an intelligence far beyond our own. I believe we're ready. Humans have always pushed boundaries, always stepped into the unknown. It's what defines us. Whatever we find inside, we do this for all of humanity." The Raven's docking system engaged with a structure that extended from the crystal, forming a perfect seal. Maya led her team toward the airlock, the path to the archive, and whatever trials awaited them, just beyond. Behind them, the darkness of the void seemed to pulse, as if alive and watching, illuminating the archive. The moment Maya Chen and her team stepped through the crystalline airlock, reality shifted around them. The corridor before them defied conventional architecture. Walls, ceiling, and floor merged in a continuous flow of translucent material that seemed both solid and liquid simultaneously. Ribbons of light pulsed through the structure, carrying information in patterns too complex to decipher. "Breathable atmosphere," Dr. Okafor confirmed, checking his handheld analyzer. "Temperature stable at 19 degrees Celsius. Gravity approximately 0.9 Earth standard. It's adapting to us," Specialist Wei observed, her voice hushed with wonder. The Sentinel's voice emanated not from any visible speaker, but from the structure itself, vibrating through the crystalline surfaces. "The path forward requires harmony between thought and action. Proceed to the first chamber." They followed the flowing light patterns deeper into the archive. The corridor opened into a vast spherical space where suspended platforms created a three-dimensional maze. Each platform held different objects, some recognizable as technological devices, others completely alien in form and function. "The Chamber of Perception," the Sentinel announced. "Many species perceive reality differently. Some see wavelengths you cannot. Others sense magnetic fields or quantum states. To proceed, you must demonstrate understanding of perspectives beyond your biological limitations." The challenge seemed impossible at first. How could humans comprehend perception systems they had never experienced? Maya studied the floating objects, noting patterns in their arrangement. "It's a test of empathy," she realized suddenly. "Not just scientific understanding, but the ability to imagine consciousness different from our own." Dr. Okafor nodded slowly. "Like how we theorized about bat echolocation or an octopus's distributed cognition without experiencing it ourselves." The team approached the problem methodically. Using their scientific instruments, they mapped the various energy fields, radiation patterns, and quantum states throughout the chamber. Then, drawing on humanity's long history of art, philosophy, and scientific imagination, they constructed models of how different perceptual systems might interpret the same reality. Working together, they rearranged the objects into patterns that demonstrated understanding of multiple simultaneous truths, showing how the same phenomenon could be perceived differently depending on the observer's biology and consciousness. When the final piece clicked into place, the chamber hummed with approval. The platforms realigned, creating a bridge to the next area. "Acceptable," the Sentinel acknowledged. "You possess empathic imagination despite your perceptual limitations." The second challenge awaited in a chamber of perfect darkness. As they entered, their lights failed, plunging them into a void so complete it seemed to swallow sound itself. "The Chamber of Fear," the Sentinel's voice explained. "All conscious beings experience fear. How you respond reveals your species' character." In the darkness, each team member began to experience personalized visions, manifestations of their deepest fears. Maya found herself floating in space, her tether cut, drifting away from her ship with oxygen depleting. Raman faced a simulation of Earth consumed by war and environmental collapse. Wei confronted a scenario where her actions caused the destruction of the Prometheus and everyone aboard. It's accessing our minds, Okafor gasped, fighting his own vision of scientific discovery leading to catastrophe. Creating tailored psychological tests. Maya struggled to center herself, remembering her training. Everyone, recognize these as simulations. Focus on what you would really do, not what you feared you might do. One by one, they confronted their fears not by denying them, but by acknowledging them and demonstrating reasoned responses. Instead of panic or despair, they showed problem-solving, cooperation, and resilience. The darkness gradually receded, replaced by a soft ambient glow. Acceptable, the Sentinel judged. You face fear with awareness and adaptation rather than denial or aggression. The third chamber presented no obvious challenge, just an empty hexagonal room with a single crystal pedestal at its center. The Chamber of Creation, the Sentinel announced. Previous species attempted to demonstrate power, technology, or intelligence here. All failed. Maya approached the pedestal cautiously. What are we supposed to do? Illuminate the archive. The Sentinel repeated its cryptic instruction. The team discussed various interpretations. Perhaps they needed to activate the crystal somehow, or solve some hidden puzzle in the room's geometry. They tried using their scientific equipment, attempted communication procedures, even considered mathematical sequences that might represent universal constants. Nothing worked. Hours passed. Frustration mounted. They had come so far only to be stopped by an incomprehensible final test. Maya sat beside the pedestal, exhausted. What does it mean to illuminate something that isn't dark in the conventional sense? Wei had been quiet for some time, studying the walls. Commander, I've been thinking about what makes humans different from other intelligent species. We're not the strongest, fastest, or even necessarily the smartest beings possible. What's your point? Raman asked. Art, Wei said simply. Creation for its own sake. Expression without function. Dr. Okafor's eyes widened with understanding. Throughout human history, even before we had writing or complex technology, we created art. Cave paintings, music, dance, the expression of subjective experience. Maya stood up, a new possibility forming in her mind. Not illumination through technology or power, but through creativity and meaning. Okafor finished. They gathered around the pedestal. Instead of trying to solve the chamber like a technical problem, they began to share stories, myths, and legends from Earth's cultures, poems that captured the human experience. Music hummed in harmony. Raman used his scientific tools to project patterns of light that danced across the walls in impromptu art. Wei recited ancient philosophy that blended science with wonder. The crystal pedestal began to glow, resonating with their expressions. The walls of the chamber reflected their creations, amplifying and transforming them into something greater. The entire structure vibrated with new energy. This is what it wanted, Maya whispered. Not just intelligence or ethics, but imagination. The ability to create meaning where none existed before. The Sentinel's voice returned, but different now. Warmer, more alive. Illumination achieved. For millions of years, species have approached the archive seeking power or answers. None understood that knowledge without meaning is empty. You have demonstrated the quality my creators valued above all others, the ability to transform understanding into creation. The chamber dissolved around them, and they found themselves in the true heart of the archive. A vast repository of knowledge spanning millions of years and thousands of civilizations. The Sentinel appeared before them as a beam of pure light, no longer constrained by the prison of crystal. My creators ascended beyond physical form, but they left this gift for species that might follow them. The archive contains knowledge that could transform your civilization. Clean energy, medical advances, faster than light travel principles, and much more. But technology alone does not create wisdom. The Sentinel explained that the crystal prison had been designed to test civilizations, ensuring that only those with the right balance of qualities could access its knowledge. The void surrounding it had been created as a protective measure, discouraging all but the most determined explorers. "You may take what you wish from the archive," the sentinel offered, "but choose carefully. Some knowledge requires preparation." Maya and her team spent days cataloging and studying the archive's contents, selecting technologies and information that humanity could implement responsibly. They focused on medical advances, sustainable energy solutions, and fundamental scientific principles, rather than weapons or power projection technologies. "A wise choice," the Sentinel approved. "This demonstrates your worthiness further." As they prepared to return to the Prometheus with their discoveries, Maya asked the question that had been troubling her. "What happens now? To you and the archive?" "The prison is broken," the Sentinel explained. "I am free to fulfill my true purpose, to spread knowledge where it can flourish. The archive will remain here for others to find, but no longer trapped in the void. And I," the being of light seemed to consider, "I would like to accompany you, if permitted, to witness how humans implement this knowledge, and to learn from your creativity. My creators believe that teaching and learning are reciprocal. I have much to share with humanity, but also much to learn." Maya smiled. "I believe Earth would welcome you, Sentinel." The return journey was triumphant. As the Raven approached the Prometheus, they saw that the void had disappeared, revealing the crystal structure in normal space, gleaming under starlight. The massive archive now orbited a nearby star, its purpose transformed from prison to beacon. When they finally returned to Earth months later, humanity faced its greatest challenge yet, not a crisis or disaster, but an opportunity that required wisdom to manage. The knowledge Maya's team brought back could solve energy shortages, cure diseases, and open the stars to human exploration. It could also, if misused, create new weapons and power imbalances. Maya testified before the United Nations, the Sentinel by her side, as a glowing presence that captivated the world's attention. "We passed the test not because we're the strongest or most advanced species," she explained to the assembled leaders. "We passed because humans possess something rare and precious: the ability to create meaning through art, story, and imagination. The ability to see beyond utility to possibility." The Sentinel addressed humanity directly, its message broadcast globally. "Your species stands at a threshold. The knowledge I bring is neither good nor evil. It simply is. What you create with it will define you for millennia to come." In the years that followed, humanity began its transformation. With the Sentinel's guidance, they established protocols for implementing advanced technologies responsibly. Global cooperation replaced competition as nations realized the challenges and opportunities ahead were too vast for any single country to manage alone. The first interstellar expedition departed 5 years later, with Maya Chen commanding and the Sentinel as guide. Their mission: to establish contact with other intelligent species, sharing knowledge and creativity across the stars. As the ship accelerated beyond the solar system, Maya stood at the observation deck, much as she had years before on the Prometheus. But this time, instead of darkness, she faced a galaxy full of light and possibility. "We illuminate the universe not just with technology," she reflected, "but with meaning, story, and wonder." Beside her, the Sentinel glowed in agreement. "That is why you were chosen. That is humanity's greatest gift to the cosmos." The ship vanished into faster-than-light travel, carrying human creativity to the stars.